Kids feel really entitled these days, Kim.
Yeah, but we made those monsters, Kim,
I didn't. I just tried to raise them.
and you spoiled them.
At this point, I'm with Monique. F them kids.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of
A juicy
Juicy Podcast. I'm Kim,
I'm Kim.
and today we're going to talk about
What they never told you about having kids.
what they never told you about having kids. How do you feel about, kids in general these days? I feel like this generation of kids and adults feel super, super, super entitled. And that entitlement, that not understanding no, is getting a lot of people, hurt and put in jail. What do you think about that?
I think that the entitlement was created.
Mm-hmm.
No child is born feeling entitled, and I think we lost our balance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that old school parents were so strict
Mm-hmm.
that, our generation and beyond said, oh no, I'm not going to raise my kids like that.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier I said, you don't know how you're doing until it's kind of down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So when your child is misbehaving young and you don't try to correct the behavior, you don't understand how that's going to translate at 16, 17, 21.
Right.
You don't understand it because, especially if you're a young parent, right? A lot of times you're young, so you're like, I ain't gonna be like that. Okay, cool. Now you were 25 or 26 or whatever. Now you're 35 and 40, and you got this 17, 18-year-old who is just outlandish.
Mm-hmm.
You've settled into yourself more, and you're a different person. So those behaviors that didn't seem to bother you then, it's a difference now.
Right.
And it's hard to reverse it when they get to a certain point. It's like if you didn't do anything for X amount of years, you can't come in now and discipline them or correct that behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make the change.
Right.
And then they have to benefit from your change or suffer from your change or
Right.
be accountable to your change.
Right.
And, I understand parents feel guilty, but at some point, you have to deal in truth.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a conversation with yourself. What is the truth?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a child who could work, but won't work,
Mm-hmm.
who just will not do,
Right.
that's a fact. It's not a judgment. It's not shade.
Mm-hmm.
It is an honest observation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you told yourself the truth, you're bothered by it as well.
Right.
So that's
Right.
when you have to make that hard decision. You need to go stay with your friend or whatever. You got to do something
Mm-hmm.
because then you are kind of trapped in a space. And my grandmother used to say, ain't no child gonna rule me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to rule me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can't make that hard decision, you just have to live with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we create that. I remember one time when my daughter was in kindergarten or something, there was a field trip.
Mm-hmm.
And she had gone the previous week on whatever that field trip was. And maybe it was the circus, and they got T-shirts and souvenirs and all this stuff. And I spent a nice little piece of change for that. And the next week, I didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the kids who didn't go to the next field trip, they were just having a free day in class. And one of my friends who had a child there said, I'm not going to let my child go to school that day because they can't go to this field trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, mine is going because life, you're going to get disappointed.
Right.
You will, if
Right.
you live, no matter who you are, you're going to be disappointed at some point, and you need to know how to deal with disappointment.
Right.
It helps you to figure out how to navigate going forward. The sooner you learn certain lessons, the better off you are. And so disappointment is a part of life, and you have to, and being told no. You will be told no.
Right.
And it ain't fair. If you work, you will be on a job where someone will get credit for the work that you do, or you will be passed over, or you will be treated differently for whatever reason.
Right.
That's going to happen.
You got to learn how to deal with that rejection.
Absolutely. And so that's a part of parenting. But see, they don't tell you that. Like I said, you have to be a detective. You have to be a research scientist. You have to do so much stuff parenting. And that goes back to me having one child. I had one, and I was like, oh, wow. Wow. This is a lot, because even though on some level I knew that you had to parent, I didn't understand the fine print of it. There is so much more than food, shelter, clothing. It's so much. It's somebody didn't play with your child on the playground, or they bullied your child, or you have a fantastic, beautiful, loving child, but they don't feel good about themselves for whatever. Maybe somebody said something to them that they never told you someone said to them, and they're carrying around this complex about something, and you can't fix it because they didn't tell you, and you don't understand why your child is not a happy child, or that little kids can be mean. Like for real. Like you might have a sweet, kind child, because that's just their nature. You didn't do it.
Yes.
That's their God-given nature. They're just sweet, calm, and the next little child may not be like that. And so having to navigate that in those spaces and advocate. So after I got divorced, I said, okay, I give myself a time range. If I don't remarry by a certain age, I'm not going to have another child, because this is work. Kids need both parents. They need both parents for a number of reasons, but the main one, because they will wear one out. Right? When you are running the ground, go talk to your daddy. Yeah. Go talk to your mama. Because it's so much, it's very involved. So you absolutely need both parents. And if I couldn't have that, I said, oh, no. Now, it is what it is. And I used to feel bad, and I felt bad mostly when she was little, because there were things that she would miss out on. Like, when kids get together at Christmas and they're trying to see the packages and all that stuff. She didn't have that experience. She didn't have that sibling rivalry. There was things that, there were just things that she didn't understand. Like, you learn survival skills with your siblings. You learn that pecking order. You know how to fight. You learn how to do all these things. And she kind of didn't have the benefit of that. But she's a great kid. And it's just really hard. And I told I realized too, and I told myself, she could have had plenty of siblings. There's no guarantee they will be close. That's another stress and strain on a parent. If your children don't get along with one another, they can't come together at the holidays, and they ain't coming over here because so-and-so coming over and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a gamble. Yeah. You don't know what you're going to get.
True.
How it's going to turn out.
So, but with that being said, please tell us about, how do you feel? What they didn't tell you about children, about raising them, about having them. Whew. Because, Lord, I feel the pain now in my back. my back. And, tell us some of the things that you would have did different in our situations if they had came arise for you. And how do you feel about the youth of today and people of today? I remember I knew everybody on my block, and you said the same for
I knew
you.
Everybody.
But nowadays, I barely know my neighbors and hardly know their children. So keep us locked. Leave a comment.
Like.
Subscribe.
Share.
Yeah, go ahead and share. Thanks for watching.
Bye, grown folks.
Bye.
what I say.